Hey guys, I am trying to, oh geez. All right, so I wanted to hop on because I told you yesterday, remember, or during the week that I would hop on and help you guys, share some tips of how to raise some confident, positive children. And after yesterday, you guys know, I'm going to have issues with my phone because there's no flipping case on it. But after yesterday, yesterday was fun. It was a snow day. And you all know how that works out with kids. It's fun for a little bit and then it's a hot mess. And that's how it was. So I'm hoping I could get this set up and that my phone doesn't slide around because there's no case on it, because you know what happened? I dropped my phone in paint. Okay, so you guys all know that I was painting some stuff from IKEA, and I'm like the worst when it comes to doing 50 million things at one time, and my phone fell in paint. So the case is like, I had to wash it and stuff, so that's why. But let's not get off topic. I have some fun stuff to share with you guys, but I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. I know it's a weird time. People are working. I'm stuck inside. Yes, the van can't get me out of my driveway. So I'm home. But I wanted to kind of share with you guys some things that I do with my kids that have helped them establish that confidence and that positive mindset early on in life. Now, my prayer is that it takes them through those tough years of teenage years and young adulthood and all that. So all I can do is establish that foundation and love them no matter what, and always uplift them. But obviously they're all different. Like, the three of my kids are very different. They have very different personalities. They have very different needs. And I'm not saying I'm a professional. I'll tell you that right now. And I make a lot of mistakes. And guys, seriously, I've come a long way. And I'm still growing because I do yell. And there's a lot of things that I like that I'm trying to change about the way I discipline and stuff like that. But I do believe that there are things that we can just start incorporating now. And it's not something like you have to look at and be like, oh my gosh, I have to change everything. I need to be better at this, and that. It's not to be overwhelmed at all. It's just start taking those few steps to help your kids and yourself stay positive and live a happy life. Because it's so easy to be negative. It's so easy to live unhappily because of everything that goes on around us. But there's no need, honestly, there's no need. We do have a choice. We do have a choice whether we choose to thrive and to live being happy where you are and with who you are. That doesn't mean that you have to settle and not strive for things and strive for, your career or whatever, but it means that you are enjoying the journey, okay? The journey of life. So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. I'm gonna also do a giveaway today. I don't know why I feel it's Friday, right? I'm gonna do a giveaway. So anyone that stays on and sticks with me till the end, I will not be long, I promise. I will make it kind of short. I wanna talk about 4 different things, maybe 5. But I'm going to do a quick giveaway, my favorite personal development book that I will send to you guys. So anyone that hops on, comments below, say you're here, say you're listening, tell me where you are. Are you at work? Are you at home? I'm yelling right now. I'm so flipping loud. So comment below, and if you comment below, you'll be entered in to win. So tell me where you are right now before we start. Are you working? We are like in a snow-apocalypse. I can't even say that word. How do you say that word? I can't say that word. And that's something that I'm going to talk about today, that you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be super talented to go places. So I will share that in a little bit. But we are stuck. We have over a foot of snow. I know that's probably not a lot for a lot of people. Courtney is sick. Oh no, that stinks. Do you have the flu, Courtney? Because that's going around. I think my younger kids had a bout of it. It wasn't The youngest had it for like a week. Mindy, what kind of dog? Because I'm trying to talk my husband into one. I'll wait a couple more minutes for more people to hop on. I know it's such a weird time. I'm probably not going to have that many. So you guys have a better chance to win by just being on. Oh, Courtney, I'm sorry. Oh, Mindy. It's a yellow lab. I would love to see a picture. I'm sure your pup is cute. Courtney, well, I'll be praying for you to get better because being sick is no fun. All right, guys. So I'm going to get right into this. Some of you guys are in my Miracle Morning group and you've seen and heard me talk a little bit about some of the things I'm going to talk about, but other things are different. Okay. So here's the thing. We always say that kids are going to follow what we do, right? More than what we say. So the first thing I want to talk about is just being a role model and doing the things that, you know, you want them to pick up. Like, I always think to myself, oh my gosh, my ugly habits and my ugly things that I do, I really, really, really don't want my kids to get from me. You know, like, and I see a lot of me in my daughter and not the greatest things and I don't want to harp on it. So for those things, like just being a role model and doing the things that you need to do to make yourself happy and to live a better life. So some of those things is my Miracle Morning, and that's me getting up early and filling up my cup before I can help serve others, and that includes my children. So they see me getting up early. They see me reading. They see me, and know that I'm opening up my Bible or listening to personal development, praying. So I'm doing things that help me with my relationship with God. They also help me feel better, more confident, happier, all of those things. So when my kids are seeing that, what do you think that they know? They know that doing those things are going to help them. Not to say that my 4-year-old's going to start doing those things, but yes, he likes to read certain things like his little Bible book. He likes to listen to some uplifting music. So things that I'm doing, I have that going in the car. Personal development in the car for me, but they're getting it too. It can't hurt. So those are things that I do. I'm not telling them to do it. I'm doing it for myself, but they're in fact seeing that, as well as exercising, because exercise makes me feel good inside, makes me feel stronger, happier, right? So those are things that they're watching their parents do, they're watching me do, and it may not start with both parents. It may just have to start with you. So if it starts with you, fantastic. And that includes being a role model with the way I view myself. I will never get in front of a mirror and say, oh, I look terrible, or I'm so ugly, or I look so fat. Those are things that if your kids are around, they're gonna pick up on. And if you've done it, there's no need to condemn yourself, but you can make the change and start speaking life instead of those things over yourself, because they're watching you. They're watching how you view yourself. They're watching how you look in the mirror and what you say to yourself. Also, another thing that is very important that I will include under being the role model, and I'll tell you, I fell into this, and I think this hurt me growing up. I loved those magazines. Shape magazine, I loved Cosmopolitan, I loved, I don't even remember half of them anymore because I don't even read them. People, I mean, all of those. And still, I will pick up People at if I go to the doctors or whatever. But here's the thing. I started, we don't get any of those magazines here because when I was younger growing up and reading those, dude, I was looking through them and I'm like, that's not what my body looked like. Why? I'm going to try that. 5 steps to tone your tush or whatever. I'm going to do that. And I became like almost obsessed with looking a certain way. Even though my parents, my mom never condemned her body and she was never like always on a diet. It wasn't like that at all growing up. And she was very positive. But it was those outside triggers that totally triggered me into hating my body, hating who I was, working out all the time and being obsessed and all of those things that wasn't healthy. So I don't have those magazines coming because I don't want my daughter to compare herself to those things. Yes, she's going to have that in the outside world. She is not going to be living in a bubble. I understand that, but I can establish that foundation from the beginning, of what she's taking in, what she's watching, what magazines are around, how people. So if I can help her in the beginning establish that foundation of loving herself for who she is, she's not going to be the skinniest girl. She has curves to her. Just to celebrate those things and this is how God made you. You need, like, to be happy and to be confident in that, right? But also making that workout. So making your workouts fun and knowing that. And when I say, like, I sometimes complain on social media, like, oh, I gotta work out. I don't really feel like it. And sometimes I'll say those things because that's really how I'm feeling. But, you'll hear, my daughter will be like, Mom, just do it. You can do this, and she's uplifting me. And because of I'm uplifting her when she is struggling, like with her math homework. And she tells me she can't do it over and over and over. It's just speaking life into it. Like, you can do it. You just have to have patience and read through it. Let's read through it together. And it's so much easier said than done, guys. I know. But when they know that they can do that with your guidance next to them, then they're more apt when they're at school to say, okay, I did this. I can do this and not just give up. Okay. So being that role model, doing more than saying. But the second thing is speaking life. Yes, you do have to say, and speaking those words of affirmation over your kids, and that, speaking over their strengths and not their weaknesses. Okay. And I'll tell you something, guys, this is hard because I find myself sometimes, like, when my daughter, she's very all over the place, like me, but I wasn't that way so young. So it kind of makes me nervous. With organization and with just order and just, she's like a hot mess, right? So I was bringing those things up over and over and over, like, Lainey, you have to clean your room. You can't do this. You have to follow the law. It's like, and then I was thinking, and I was praying about it, and God just like, Tara, relax. She's 8. You can teach her how to do the things, but you can't tell her over and over. Speak over her strengths. So the more I've been doing this, the more she's kind of coming to her own, and those weaknesses are not as strong as they were when I was pointing them out over and over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? So the more I celebrate her strengths, the more she wants to, she's just naturally trying to do better in those areas of weaknesses. It sounds crazy, but it's so true. Same with my husband. The more I tell him, like, celebrate his strengths, and the more his weaknesses, like, they kind of go away, and it's so true in your job with your students. The more we speak negatively and we speak down to what they're doing and how they're acting out, and we're harping on it, because that's what I was doing with my daughter, because I was getting emails from her teacher just about her being focused and leaving her homework home, and she just, whatever, right? I was harping on those negatives, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. So I've been starting to, I'm so glad. And guys, don't think I know everything. I'm learning, and as I'm learning, I want to share and not be a reservoir. And my friend talked about this last night, being a reservoir, just taking everything you know and kind of keeping it in. I would rather be a river. So what I'm learning, what I'm doing, I want to share. So if it can bless someone and help someone, great. That's what it's all about. That's why I'm doing this. That's what my calling is. That's why I'm here. So just that speaking life over people in general, and not so harping on because I'll tell you something. even the students that I used to work with, like, guess what they heard their whole life? They heard, you can't do this. You're not good enough. You're never going to be smart enough to get into this college. You're never going to be good enough to play on whatever, college football. Whatever it was, they've heard it their whole life. So guess what? You believe that and you start living that. So I'm trying with all of my kids to bring their strengths forward. Like my middle son is so very good at like just being organized. Like he's complete opposite of my daughter. And I'm celebrating them, like, and that's why I did that Lego thing that you guys saw on my regular page. I organized his Legos because he thrives off of that. He loves that. And I just celebrate, hey, I know you love this stuff, so I'm going to help you and I'm going to do this with you and you could keep your stuff. So it just makes them feel better and it makes them feel good. Okay. And this also goes with complaining. And we, I think, have to check ourselves with complaining. So I would say the third thing is the way we speak just in general, okay? So if I complain all the time, and my husband and I used to be like this, totally 100%, that, we were just, we would come home from work, we would complain about work, we would complain about this. And you know what happened? We were miserable. So that's why, number one, we don't watch the news. I know people are like, oh my gosh, you don't know what's going on in the world. Yes, you know what's going on in the world. We read articles, and especially being on the internet, you know what's happening. But tell me if you watch the news and what happens. Every time I watch the news, I'm like disgusted, number one. Number two, my heart is like aching for people. And and I'm just like so depressed. And bringing that into my house, my kids are hearing people are getting killed, people are doing that. And it's like, dude, I don't need them to hear all this. And I don't need them to fill their minds with this, because that's going to bring them down. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to know what's going on in the world. They're know what's going on in the world, no matter if the news is on or not. But at least it's not adding that second layer, that layer of just, crap, because honestly, everything is negative on the news. Everything. And the music we listen to and stuff like that. I'm not saying totally change I love all types of music, but there's music like I listen to with my kids, and my kids like it, just positive, uplifting, like just speaking life into them. And you can tell, like when we listen to it in the car on the way to school, they're happier. They're more excited. They feel better. They're singing along with it. And the words are like amazing words, like, that definitely make them want to be better. Okay. Another thing, this isn't something huge, is talent over grit. So this is a book that I'm reading, and I'll post about it. It's called Grit. But it's so good. And it's honest, this part in it talks about like, and I've always said this, guys, I'm not the most talented. I'm not well-spoken at all. I just share what's on my heart, and I'm just who I am. And growing up, I was very average. I wasn't smart, and I feel like the grit, the showing up, the working hard, the effort is far more important than any talent, any intelligence, any of that. My kids may not be the smartest. I don't care. Because you know what? I'm going to teach them to show up. And I have been teaching them to show up. You're not the greatest in gymnastics. Well, guess what? We're going to show up and we're going to work hard. You're not the greatest in soccer or in math. Well, guess what? We're going to practice. We're going to show up and we will outwork anyone. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times what happens, and I've seen this growing up, okay? The smartest people don't work as hard because it comes naturally. So they don't even push themselves. And guess what? Great. That may be awesome. But what does that make you feel like on the inside? I'll tell you something right now. When things come easy for me and I don't try, that doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel good when I push myself, when I try harder, or when I put in all the effort I can and I've grown to here or whatever. That makes me feel good. That fulfills me. That is everything. And that's exactly what we should be teaching our kids. It's not about who's smartest, who's the prettiest, who's the most talented. It's not. Because honestly, the smartest people a lot of times don't have enough drive or determination to do big things in life, to dream big, to follow their dreams, and to become who they want to be. But it's those kids that work really hard for where they're at. I had to work very hard for my grades. It did not come naturally. And I'll tell you something, throughout my whole middle school, high school career, I wished it would come naturally, because I hated seeing people that were very smart and they weren't really working hard. But it did make me who I am today. And it brought me to this place where I've seen my dad work his butt off, and my mom, like, they're just hard workers. And that's why I'm a hard worker now, because I saw it. And, I feel like that's something that we can teach our kids. They don't have to be the smartest. They may have setbacks. They may have disabilities. But if they have grit and they put in effort, they can do whatever they want to do. And there's a myth going around that, like, and I'm not saying, oh, everyone's a winner. Everyone deserves a medal. I don't believe that at all. Because I'll tell you something. If my kid isn't good at something and they're not trying to be better, they don't deserve nothing. They don't deserve to be the winner because they didn't win. And they're not trying. You know what I'm saying? Some kids are just better at things than others, okay? But I do believe that the effort they put in is gonna mold them into who they are. And that starts from a young age. It starts from, soccer at age 5, or it starts from, doing homework or working on their math skills and just kind of putting in the effort for that and trying to master some of those skills. It may not come easy, but they're going to grow into stronger individuals for having to work hard and putting in that grit. So grit over talent any day. Any day. I'd rather have people, and I'll tell you this, for me, join me as a coach on my team to work with every day, that have grit over talent any day. Hey, Lindsay. Okay. The next one. Okay, the next one and the last one I'm going to leave you with is loving your body and teaching your kids that it's okay to have things in moderation. So I never want to say, no, you can't have that. You can't have that. You can't. If I did that, my kids would leave the nest and flipping pound, like they wouldn't have the capacity. They wouldn't know how to eat correctly. They wouldn't know how to do things in moderation. So I teach them, like, dude, you could have cookies, you could have cake, but it's in moderation. We're not having it every single day. Choose wisely. And my daughter now, and it makes me so happy because she'll go to her grandparents, and I'll tell you right now, she's pounding food. Like, she'll have like way more than she would with us because they allow her to, and it's fun. That's what grandparents do. But she knows, so this is what she'll say. And she's 8. She'll be like, okay, I'm going to grandma and grandma's tonight. I'm going to have a snack. I'm going to have an apple as a snack instead of goldfish or something like that. So she's thinking moderation. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy myself tonight. Like when I go out to dinner, I'm going to enjoy myself. But I'm going to, choose healthy snacks during the day because of that. So that's what I teach my kids, is that moderation, and that I don't take away things from, like, I'm not like, you can't have, they can't have candy in the morning, but that's common sense, right? And workouts too, moderation, making it fun. They see me working out, and I'm huffing and puffing. It's tiring, but they're not, but they know that mommy loves it. I love it when it's over, and that I feel good after it, and they see that. They also know that working out doesn't have to be in front of the TV with a video. I go outside with them, or we'll walk up the drive, because you guys know we talked about my driveway on my regular page. It's flipping long. Or play in the snow. That's activity, and and they know, like, as kids, your workouts, your physical fitness is playing. How awesome is that? So they're aware of that, and they are very active because of it, okay? So we do have restrictions now on the iPad and the TV and all of that, because honestly, kids are going to sit down in front of the TV or iPad if you let them all day long. Now, most kids, I'm not going to say all, some kids aren't that thing, that's not what they're into. But I definitely recommend putting restrictions on that, because you know what? I'll leave you guys with this. The week that we took away the TV and everything, they fought a lot. They did, I'll be real. But they were playing a lot. That's why they fought a lot. They were like, it was so nice hearing them play and like being kids and, you know, doing stuff together and not being like, or watching a show and not talking, playing outside, doing those things that kids should be doing. So that's why I definitely say, hey, sometimes kids like that downtime of the TV because, you know, school is hard. And nowadays they're being pushed and like to focus. And that's, you know, and for a lot of kids, it's hard for them, especially like earlier on. So I definitely think that TV and the iPad is a way to just kind of chill and not really think about things, because we all need that. But definitely in moderation and not 24/7, because it's definitely going to affect them in a lot of ways, more than you think. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. So if you guys stayed on, I said at the beginning, if you comment below, tell me where you're at, tell me what you're doing with your kids, if you're working today, whatever. I want to know below, and then you guys are going to go into a drawing for a personal development book. So I will actually take these, because I'll leave this up all day, and then tonight I'll pick someone and announce it. So if you guys have listened to this whole thing and there's one thing that stood out from you, comment below. That would be great, because I'd love to hear more. And again, I am not perfect. I am not a professional. I'm just being a flippin' river and sharing with you what I'm trying to do and what's working for us with raising our kids. And I'll tell you, it is hard, and it's going to get even harder as they get older. I know that. I remember me in 6th and 7th grade and 8th grade. It was not pretty. My poor mother. Oh God. My poor mom. So, but it definitely made me into who I am today, that I had to work harder, that it didn't come easy for me. And, I definitely, am here because of that. So your kids, you will help them with the foundation, and they're going to grow into their own, but there's a lot of things we could do as parents to help that and to guide them. So I hope you have a great Friday. Listen to this. Tell me one thing that stood out to you that you're either going to start applying or that you want to be better at. I want to be better at yelling, because I'm loud. I'm Italian. I'm loud. I talk with my hands, you know. So when I talk, I'm loud, and I see that in my kids too, and that's something I'm trying to get away from, because my husband isn't. He's like, why is everyone so loud? It's true, our house is loud. All right, so I will let you guys go. I hope you have a great Friday. Hey, thanks, Lindsay. I will talk to you guys soon.